Cobra Kai Theory. Today we have a very special guest, Michael Cavalieri. Am I saying it right?
You got it right.
Cavalieri,
Very
Italian. Little
Yeah,
Italian on
very
this.
good.
That's the 10% coming out. So, man, thank you so much for being on the show. Of course, for you guys who know, he played Ned in The Next Karate Kid, the big bad. And we got a lot of questions today. We're going to go over some stuff and just have some fun. And I know you got your movie that you made, right?
I produced.
You produced. You wrote.
I acted.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about that too.
And directed.
Yep.
Yeah, Ritornato.
Real Italian movie. So, how's everyone in chat doing? Everyone's coming in. Everyone's flooding in. So, before we get started.
Ciao a tutti. Ciao a tutti. Siciliani del mondo. Cavalieri, Michael.
We got any Italians in the chat? Type 1 if you're from Italy.
Any Sicilians here? Let's do it.
Type 2 if you're from Sicily.
Bravo, 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 bravo.
Chat's coming in. All right, cool. Got about 100 coming in already. Okay, so.
Oh, Lord.
So this.
Michael, where's my pasta? Hey, tweets from Brooklyn.
Hey, we got someone from Brooklyn?
My boy. Ciao, Cobra Kai Dad. What's going on? Dally Karate Kid. What's up, brother?
They're going to see.
My boys from Brooklyn.
They're going to see a 20-second delay. So that's why if you ask a question, you're going to be like, "What? Where is everybody?" But yeah, everyone's rolling in. What's going on?
Oh,
guys?
Andrew, what's up, Andrew?
All right. So this movie, The Next Karate Kid, I want to hear how you. I know you've said it in other interviews, but I want to hear it here on the channel. How did you get the role? What was your reaction? Take me through the story.
All right. I was lucky to get the role, by the way.
Okay.
I haven't worked since.
Okay.
But anyway, I was a fledgling actor. Pretty much living out of my car and working at nightclubs, trying to get by. And I have this small manager. And one day he calls me, goes, "Listen, you got an audition." He didn't tell me what it was for.
Yeah.
Just an audition. He goes, "Wear a leather jacket and a T-shirt.
Yeah.
The sides are there." I said, "Okay." I go. I read the sides. It doesn't say Karate Kid. Next Karate Kid says nothing. Just this guy, Ned Randall, and a girl doing a scene. So I go walk in, and the casting director, her name was Joy Todd. She's a very, very successful, big-time casting director, since passed on, but she did like Q&A, and she did Rocky 2, I believe, and a couple other big movies. So she was a New Yorker, so I think right off the bat, I had something going for me there.
You had an in.
California got, I'm in California, but I'm a New Yorker.
Yeah.
Anyway, I read with her, and I was relatively new. I hadn't done much stuff, and so after the audition was over, she said, "Take off your jacket." And I'm like, "Okay." So I took my jacket off. She goes, "Wow, you work out, you're fit." I said, "Yeah, I trained, da-da-da." She goes, "Okay, thank you." A week later, manager calls me, "They want to see you again." I said, "Okay." He goes, "Do exactly what you did the first time." And really, honestly, I don't remember what I did, but I said, "Just go and do what I did."
Yeah.
Show up, I got the leather jacket, the T-shirt, blah, blah, blah. Now it's Joy and a few other people in the room. I go in, I read, blah, 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 do the same exact thing. She goes, "Thank you." I leave.
Yeah.
Now it's 3 weeks later. I'm in the gym working out in Gold's Gym.
Cool.
I get a call at the front desk. I hear the PA over the thing, "Michael Cavalieri, come to the front desk." So I run to the front desk. I'm like, I think somebody died in my family or something going on. And it's him. He goes, "I'm trying to track you down. You got to be in Warner Brothers in an hour and a half." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "They want to see you again in front of all the big producers." I'm like, "Okay." He goes, "Do exactly the same thing. Whatever you do, keep doing what you're doing."
Yeah.
I go back. Now they're mixing me with a couple of girls and a couple of guys are there, right? And we go in and we read this and that in the room. I finally meet Jerry Weintraub, who's like one of the biggest producers in Hollywood. Yeah. So I'm already nervous. I meet the director, Chris Kane, and Hillary was there and a few other people. And we meet everybody, blah, blah, blah. We read, they mix and match people, blah, blah, blah. And then I go.
Yeah.
And I don't hear anything. I'm like, all right, 2-3 weeks go by. I get another call. He goes, "Listen, you're going to screen test." So I go back. And now I'll never forget this. Yeah, I'll never forget this as long as I live. I'm sitting on the steps, on these little steps in Warner Brothers with another actor. And there's no one else there. Yeah. So I know it's between him and I.
Yeah. For
this part. And I can't tell you how many times since then I was the guy that didn't get the part. It's probably happened 99% of the times I was the other guy.
Yeah.
But I felt like, I had just lost my mom a few years earlier. I was having a tough time. I was struggling. I said, this part is mine. This is mine. you know, and I'll give you another scenario that went with it, but I'll talk about it later. But so I'm sitting here with this guy, and they call me in first, and I meet Jerry, and I meet Chris again, and all the people, and I go in and I read again, and he goes, "Wait outside." Wait outside. The other guy goes in.
Yeah.
So now I'm sitting on the steps by myself, thinking, "Did I get this part? I didn't get the part." The guy comes back out, and he has his jacket off, and he's wearing just a tank top. And I said to myself, "I'm getting this part for sure." Sure enough, I hear my name, Michael Cavalieri. So I walk back in. I swear, Mia, this hallway must have been 150 feet long. I kept walking and walking. I was sweating, you know. And I sit down, and Jerry Weintraub was sitting with his feet up on the desk, and Chris was standing right next to him. And he goes, "Kids, sit down." I'm like, "Okay." And he goes, "Where are you from?" I said, "Well, I'm from New York, the Bronx." And he goes, "Who's your agent?" I said, "Such and such." He goes, "You got the part." I'm like, "What?" I jumped, seriously, jumped over the desk.
Yeah.
Grabbed Jerry, hugged and kissed him. I was crying, bawling like a little child. I grabbed Chris Kane. I'm crying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I just came from a place where I lost my mother. I was totally lost.
I'm very
I had
sorry
no
to hear
money.
about that, by the way.
Thank you. And this thing was the only thing that lifted me out of that darkness, you know?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that. And Jerry goes, "We're going to be in Boston for such and such amount of time." I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this. Da, da, da. He goes, be ready to, to train and da, da, da. I said, "I'm ready." So as I was leaving, this stuck in my head, and this is why I mentioned it earlier. I saw the other actor walking away. And I can't tell you how many times I felt that way since that I didn't get a part, and I didn't get the role, and I didn't have an opportunity to maybe be in this huge movie. And what made this movie so unbelievable for me was, obviously the loss of my mom and no finances, like living with nothing, in a car with ripped seats and, hair everywhere for my dog. And on top of that, I was supposed to do another movie called Looking Italian. They wrote it about my life. So when I first moved here, I was talking to this director. I was a very, very green actor, didn't know much, but he loved the story about my family and my father.
Yeah.
So we started talking, we became friends. And a few months later, he called me up to his house. And I'll never forget this. He slides this script across the table to me. And he goes, "We're going to do this movie. And you're going to star in this." And he goes, "This is about your life." And it says, "Looking Italian." I was like, wow. He goes, "We're going to rehearse. We're going to do this." He goes, "If I can't raise the money by summertime, I'm going to put my house up for sale." So that being said, this is going on. I'm supposed to do this movie. And I get the call for Karate Kid, right? So this is going back and forth at about the same time.
Yeah.
This director says to me, he wants me to screen test for my own life. And I'm like, "I'm not going to screen test for my own life.
Yeah,
those are my
weird.
ideas. This is my story.
Yeah.
This is my life. How dare you?" He goes, "Well, I'm not going to give you the part." So you're not going to give me the part of my own life?
Yeah.
So I said, "You know what? I don't want nothing to do with it."
Yeah.
And he's, he berated me, said, "What are you going to do? You're never going to work in this town. All this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Call me and say you're not going to work, whatever." And I said to myself, something good's going to happen. And all of a sudden, the Karate Kid started happening, right? True story. In the gym, Matt LeBlanc comes up to me one day. Matt, from friends, whatever.
Yeah.
He comes up to me, and we were friends because we auditioned a lot against each other, same type, Italian, whatever it was. And really nice guy, really wonderful guy. And he says to me, "Mike," he goes, "I just read the script. You're perfect for it." He goes, "It's called Looking Italian." I started laughing. I didn't say anything to him, but I started cracking up. So, I get Karate Kid.
Yeah.
He ends up playing me in Looking Italian. That movie ends up going into the dumpster, and Karate Kid becomes, for me, a huge success.
Yeah.
And here I was saying to myself, I just did the right thing. I did what I was supposed to do. I was an honorable person. That's how I carry myself.
Yeah.
And I felt so grateful to be vindicated in a way that I ended up in the biggest franchise in cinema history at the time. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, it still is, man. Like it's
Karate
Kid's a big universe. Yeah.
It's the biggest, I never thought that until recently with the success of these kids in Cobra Kai, which is remarkable to me. I mean, this is 30 years, man. This is the greatest franchise, in my opinion,
Yeah.
In the history of movies. I mean, think about Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
The greatest superhero without real violence.
Yeah.
Without a gun or a knife. And to have been associated with that, man, and to be involved in that, to stand with him, to have conversations with him, to be part of that, I'm so honored and blessed. So when I saw the Cobra Kai, I was like, wow, this is just proves how special this is, you know, and how it's carried its legacy. So when people call me and say, you know, you were in the Karate Kid, your next Karate Kid, I say, yeah, and I'm very, very proud of it. When you're a young actor, you're not sure.
Yeah.
You know, you're not sure because you want to be a serious actor. You want to be, you know, I was trying to do like, after that, I did a lot of independent films because that's when Reservoir Dog was out and films like that. So I went off to do some really, really great independent films, but they weren't box office. Right. So then you find yourself struggling a little bit to try to get back into the mainstream.
Right.
But it was an amazing experience. And that audition sticks with me for those reasons, because of the loss of my mother and also the remembrance of how it feels to not get something and to be blessed one time. That's like a big marker in my life. That's why it's so vivid in my memory.
Yeah.
That I think about those times, and I think about the day we did the table reading, and I'm sitting there. Here's a kid that came from nowhere, me, with all the stuff that was going on in my life, and I'm sitting across from Pat Morita and Jerry Weintraub and Hillary, who was a young budding superstar at the time that nobody really knew. Yeah. And she was beautiful and she was ready to blossom. And to be in this next phase of this great film, and it hadn't been around in a while. You know, I'm not sure how Karate Kid 3, I don't remember it
There was a 5-year gap. Yeah, it came out in 89.
Yeah, so I was more fans of the 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Because to me, I thought 1 was brilliant. I thought that Mr. Miyagi's performance, you know, in one of the, I don't know if it's 1 or 2, where he's thinking back about his wife and fighting in the war. And
that was the first one. Yeah, that was the first one.
In his bedroom.
Yeah, where he's crying.
Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. And I think he got an Academy Award nomination for that, if I'm not.
Did he?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. And I think that when you look at him, and everybody thinks he's a comedian, yeah, you know, but he's a great actor.
Yeah, he is.
And he was great in that scene. That stuck with me. So when I got the next Karate Kid, I found myself looking at that one, because I felt like that was the one. That was the trademark film. You know, the bad guy, the good guy, the love interest. And I said, well, I'm this guy.
Yeah.
I'm this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play this guy the way I feel I should play this guy. Now, I had no idea, Nia, that it was going to be a girl.
Yeah.
Had no idea. I thought she was the love interest. I had no idea that, because they didn't let us know anything. They didn't tell us the final script.
Yeah, apparently so Hillary didn't even know. That's what I was reading online. I was like, she thought she was going to be Daniel's girlfriend.
That's what I thought. So that's what I said. I said, and I thought I was going to be the main, you know, I was the main bad guy, but against Daniel. So I had no idea what was going on. So, you know, we didn't know until like probably maybe a week before, 2 weeks before, 3 weeks maybe. Whenever we started to work on the if I recall, we started working on stunts a little bit before, and then they kind of let us know. I was like, all right, well, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And we're gonna make it work. So, yeah, that was the story. It's fascinating.
That's weird that they didn't tell you.
Yeah.
I guess they were trying to keep it under wraps, and they wanted to go in a different direction. But I mean, you were the fourth. I would say not the top villain, because you have the top villain, because you had the master above you guys, right? So I mean, it's Johnny, Chosen, Mike Barnes, and then Ned.
Yep.
So what was your? I know a lot of people were asking, what was your experience working with Michael Ironside? Because Michael
Ironside, he's a wonderful actor, but as a character, for sure. Michael was a generous actor. But Michael tested me my first day on the set. I'll never forget. We were doing the scene, the bungee jump scene in the high school. Yeah. And after we do that scene, we go outside to the front steps. So we just were doing that front steps when I come out and I open the door and I look at them and I threaten McGowan, whatever it is, and he goes away. Yeah. And it was my first day. And, you know, they marked the scene and he was like right behind me, like following me to see if I hit my mark, hit the dialogue, know how to walk back. Yeah. And he kind of gave me a couple of pointers. Make sure you do this, make sure you do that, you know, make sure you walk backwards, whatever. So he was in some way teaching, in some way challenging, which I thought was fascinating. And I love a challenge.
Yeah.
So he's a wonderful actor, wonderful man. So we did a rehearsal, and the brilliant cinematographer Laszlo Kovacs was one of the most brilliant cinematographers ever in the world. Was shooting the movie, and he pulled me to the side and he said to me, he goes, "Whatever you do, keep doing what you're doing. Your face is beautiful. Keep doing it. You know how to find the light. You're hitting the mark. Don't worry about anything else." So I said, okay. And then Michael Ironside just kind of went away. There was no more,
He was gone.
Michael Ironside. It was that first, it's like, a veteran baseball player and a rookie. They're trying to teach you a little bit. They're also trying to test you and see what you got. Yeah. But man, is he a great villain in so many movies, and a wonderful actor, and is a nice man. And we had a lot of laughs. And listen,
oh, I lost you. Uh-oh. Michael, you there?
There you are.
You there?
So,
all right, you froze.
I'm here.
All right.
I'm here. Yeah. But it was an interesting way to play a part, and he was a great teacher, and I really I would love to work with him again, and maybe we will on Cobra Kai. We'll see.
Yeah, it'd be awesome if you come back. Where do you think your character would be now if they were to, bring that in there?
Several people, there's several scenarios that have hit me. People said, because I know in the Karate Kid franchise, I think only 2 of the characters ever been redeemed, Johnny and Ned. Yeah. At the end. Mm-hmm. And this is a great story about Pat and why I think he's such a wonderful actor and was a wonderful man. We had to reshoot the ending of the film. At the end, we had to come back and reshoot the ending because they wanted to tweak something. Yeah. And my character didn't want to follow Dugan anymore. When he says to the kid, he says, "Finish her off." I'm like, no. And he turns. Of course, he realizes this guy's out of his mind.
He's crazy. Yeah.
But he had no one else originally to follow. He comes from a broken home. His father was abusive, so he needed leadership. So he fell into the hands of this guy. And the guy was strict, and the guy set him on a path, and he felt like this is something that he could respond to. So he responded to Dugan. And but Pat, I did a few takes, and Pat came over to me, and he pulled me aside. He was so supportive, and he said, "Michael," he goes, "the vulnerability you're showing in this moment is beautiful, coming from your character. It's honest and beautiful. Don't change it. Don't change it. It's what this character needs and what this movie needs. Somebody to move past being just a general bad guy. This is who he is. You have the bad guy. But what does the bad guy learn?" So my feeling is he created a great relationship with Mr. Miyagi after the movie, in between that time, and maybe became friendly with Julie. I think he totally turned his back on Dugan and went to Miyagi as a mentor, somebody who taught him how to live his life the right way. Yeah. And wanted his secrets about life, and wanted to learn the things that he taught Julie, and he told him stories about Daniel. Yeah. And I think this could lead Ned to come look for Daniel. Yeah. And maybe ask him, listen, I was close to Miyagi. I felt, this and that. I said, he told me a lot about you. I wanted to meet you. Maybe after he dies, he goes searching for him. That's a scenario people tell me all the time. Yeah. Another scenario is, they said, why doesn't he end up with Julie? He ends up a changed guy. He works in a youth center. Yeah. And ends up a changed guy. And he teaches crooked kids how to become, try to work with them and try to get them straight. Yeah. And he ends up being with Julie, and he comes back with her. That's another scenario. Another scenario was that he's just a bad villain, badass.
Just a bad
boy,
yeah.
Back, yeah, and he's looking for Daniel because Daniel's supposed to be the greatest student ever. And he wants to challenge him. So he has a school that's not far, and he has all these bad kids running the gamut there. And another one which was very interesting to me, which was I thought was, what's up, Zaya? Maybe Ned shows up and nobody actually says the name Ned. but he's in the scenes.
So what, he's
a
like
few scenes.
incognito in the background,
Well,
kind of? But you know.
Well, he's Ned. He's doing a scene with Ralph, or he's doing a scene with Billy or whatever, and he's in the scene, but nobody really. There's no Ned said.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe he's older brother, Ralph's older brother, a cousin comes in. You know, troublemaking cousin comes in.
Yeah. Apparently, the writers have said that Julie and Daniel met at Miyagi's funeral, in the Miyagi world.
That's what I say.
So I mean,
don't you think all these? I think it would be an unbelievable scenario of all the characters that he touched.
Yeah.
In their lives.
Yeah.
One way or another, come back to pay respects to him in a big way, like in a big, you know, a funeral, but like a big thing for him.
Yeah.
A party of some sort to celebrate his life. How unbelievable would that be? All these characters that you saw.
Yeah.
In these movies, you go and you see them all together in this place to pay homage to a great hero. Yeah. And we see it in life. We see it all the time.
That'd be actually a really cool story. I never really thought of that. You know, Ned going up to Miyagi after and being like, "Look, like, I'm lost. Train me. Help me." And then we could see, because we haven't really seen him take a character who was a villain, who really just had the poor guidance and, you know, didn't have a good family coming. And he needed that father figure, and he found it in Dugan, let's say, or, you know, Kreese or with Silver or whatever. And now this guy comes into Miyagi and he's like, "Hey, you know, teach me, show me the way." I think that would be pretty cool. It'd be a cool story.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing, you know, it's like, and I'm, you know, several people, you know, like, you're so bad, you're so mean, you're so this, you're so that, you're such a villain, but that's your part. That's what you're playing.
That's the character you got. You were supposed to lose, you were supposed to be mean, you were supposed to be evil, and that's you acted. You got the part and you acted.
Yeah, so, you know, people often say, how did it, you know, and I'm sure they'll ask you, like, how did it feel to fight a girl?
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's a great question. And I smiled. I said, listen, I said, you know, my job as an actor, like you just said, is to do the job as best as I can. Mm-hmm. And Hillary was the star, and Hillary was dynamite. Hillary worked on her kata. She worked on her she was so athletic, by the way, so graceful. And you know what? I wanted to be as good as I could possibly be for her. And I wanted to be as believable as it possibly could be for her.
Yeah.
That's my job. But I also wanted to play my part to the point that it was believable enough that he's bad enough that you would hate him.
Right.
You would hate this character.
You did. You
and
succeeded.
Apparently people say that to me a lot. And I have a wonderful fan in Mexico City.
Yeah.
Mariela, when she found me on Instagram, she goes, "You know, you changed my life." She goes, "I used to hate you, but I love you. You're such a sweet human being. You're such a real person," and da da da. So at first they meet you and they're not sure.
Right.
When they think about the movie persona, because they get scared, and then when they meet you, they're like, "Oh, he's so nice." So, but that's your job, to make Hillary look great.
Yeah.
To make it as believable as possible. Yeah. To make the fights, I did all my own stunts, but to make the fights look realistic as possible.
Yeah.
Now listen, do I want to fight a guy? Of course. Do I want to fight any of these guys, any place, anywhere?
That'd be cool.
No problem.
Mike Barnes? Yeah.
Bring them. Yeah. Because for me, then you really get to see another level of Ned that you've never seen. Yeah. So if you want to go that route, it's going to get really, really nasty.
Yeah.
So either way, that's our job as an actor. If they wanted me to go this way, I go that way. If you want me to go that way, go this way.
Yeah.
So that's what I find interesting about Ned, is that he can turn, because that last moment is turned for him. He has a lot of options. He has a lot of things that he can feather out and do. So
yeah, there's more opportunities, more doors open. Yeah, because you're right. We haven't seen a character be redeemed like that.
Yeah.
Right. So well, except for Johnny now in the end, but I mean, Johnny was, you know, he was a jerk, and then you got Chosen, who up until, you know, possibly season 3 where he comes in, he was always a jerk, even in the end. And then Mike Barnes was like the most sadistic dude out there in the third one. And then you got Ned, but Ned at least in the end was like, "Yo, I can't do this anymore. Like you're crazy, dude."
And I think it's again because of it's a girl. Number one, I think you see a guy with a conscience, and I think an interesting thing about a guy who's edgy and dangerous, the conscience. He has a conscience. He has a little vulnerability, and I think that makes him interesting.
Yeah.
And the fascinating thing when I thought about it is like, this is almost how many years ago? Yeah, like 20, 24, 26 years ago.
Yeah, 94.
So Hillary came along, like we talked earlier. She came along before Me Too and all this stuff. She was the first superhero as a woman, as a girl.
Yeah.
So now she was carrying the torch many years ago. So I think generally in this Karate Kid franchise, she was the only one really to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think makes this film even more special, is that there's a girl at the helm.
Yeah.
Who was kind of pushing the envelope. So that's also
it was always the boys before. We didn't ever get the girls. Yeah, I mean, the girls were only the pretty much damsels in distress almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she came out fighting, man. She came out swinging. And she, listen, I get asked, and I'm sure you'll ask me, you want to ask me how it felt like to get my butt kicked by a girl. I'm sure many people ask, like,
how'd it feel?
You know what? This is my answer.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it because two things. When were you ever going to star opposite a two-time Academy Award-winning actress who's gifted? When is a young actor like myself who was struggling and starving get a chance to star in the biggest franchise in movie history? How many people could say that?
None, really.
Maybe me? One?
Yeah, you.
And so that makes me different. And also, listen, I made a little bit of money.
There you go. Yeah.
And honestly, when I think back of my youth and like I said, the losses that I had in life and the family losses and things that went, Danila, how are you? That I went through, this was a light. This was a light that pulled me out of the darkness. This was something that I could hold on to that said, wow, I have a shot.
Yeah.
I made it in Hollywood in some way.
Yeah.
I made it. If I never work again, which happened for a long time.
Sure.
For young actors out there, it's tough to get work. It's tough to work as an actor. So to get a gift like this, treasure it. Whatever you get, treasure it. So I revere this franchise, and I revere the kids today that are doing Cobra Kai. I have a lot of respect for them and the love and the passion they have for it, and the fans. I mean, look at these fans. They're amazing. And you guys. Yeah. You guys out there doing the interviews, thank you so much.
Yeah, we all love you, man. We love all you guys, part of this universe, because I grew up with you. I was 4 years old when the next Karate Kid came out. I was introduced to the Karate Kid when I was about 6 years old in '96 from my dad. And yeah, man, I've been a big fan my whole life. So,
well, from my heart to you.
Yeah.
The rest of the guys that are always interviewing me all the time, every one of them.
Yeah.
You guys are very special, and I appreciate you taking the time to support me as an actor, and all the other actors I'm sure feel the same way. So thank you very much.
Of course.
Yeah. So
got a bunch of questions here for you, but first I want to talk about your movie.
Jeremy, what's up, Jeremy? How are you, buddy? What's up, Antonino? Santo? Come ma? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Let's talk about the movie a little bit. Your movie.
Ritornato.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Ritornato. It's based on a true story about an experience I had when I went to Sicily for the first time. After losing my mother, my father, and my sister, Nia, I was totally lost. You know, I felt empty, and I said to my fiancée at the time, is now my wife, I said, let's go to Sicily. I just want to see where my grandfather's from. I spent a lot of time with my grandfather when I was a young boy in the garden doing tomatoes, zucchini, peppers, garlic.
Yeah.
And he didn't speak any English. But I remember moments where he would pinch my cheek, put his cap on my head, give me a hug, walk me to school. And I said, you know, we went there, and I remember the driver I said, I want to go to Lima. I had a translator because I don't speak fluent. And he goes, why? Why do you want to go to Lima? I said, because my grandfather's there. He goes, yeah, but nobody goes to Lima. I says, I want to go.
Yeah.
He goes, okay, we go.
Why don't they go?
What's that?
Why don't they go?
Well, people don't go because it's this really obscure town, like 700-800 meters up on a mountain.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's very difficult, and a lot of the people are older now.
Yeah.
So it's hard for them to get down and drive and walk around. So people don't go.
Yeah.
It's not a town. It's not a resort town. It's a place that people go to. Either they stay or never go back to. So my grandfather left in 1921. He went down on a donkey. Probably took him about 8 hours to get down to the bottom. And then he went to wherever he went to and came to America.
Yeah.
So I drove up that mountain in a car, and it took us about 45 minutes. And I started crying, man. I saw the sign. It says Limina. It's right here on my thing right behind me. And I said, Grandpa, we made it. Mom, we made it. We finally made it. And so we went into the town and we stopped at the municipal building. And I was only expecting to find a street, an address, something.
Yeah, sure.
So we're in the municipal building and somebody hears the name, Alabrandi. That's my grandfather's last name. And goes, who's Alabrandi? I said, me. So a lady, she was about 85 years old. She goes, un momento. She turns around, with the phone, and she's like this. And I'm like, what? So I'm talking to the guy. A few minutes later, the guy walks in. He goes, who's Alabrandi? I said, me. He goes, come with me. I know everything. So I said to my wife, I says, I guess we got to go with him because he knows everything.
Yeah.
So we walk across the street and into this little cafe, and this stays in my memory like it's glued in my head. I see this old man sitting at a small table. He's wearing glasses, holding a cane, and he's crying. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, man, why is this guy crying?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So I walk over to the table with the translator and my wife, fiance, and we sit down, and this man is shaking and crying. He can't speak. He has a debilitating illness. So long story short, we go through a series of conversations with the translation, the guy trying to translate. And this guy, Turi, who came in, said he knew everything. He's actually my cousin, but I don't know this. So they're going around in circles. Finally, I said, wait a minute, hold on. And I said, speak English. So he was able to speak in broken English, Turi. And he points to the old man. He goes, Papino is the brother of your grandfather. And I'm like, what? And he starts crying. He hugs me. He kisses me.
Oh, wow.
Now, nobody knew this story. None of my family ever knew that my grandfather had a brother in Sicily. Nobody knew this at all.
Yeah.
So that was my experience. So based on that, I wrote the movie. Based on my experience of seeing the town. And I remember standing in the cemetery and I said, this is the most beautiful, I know this is odd, most beautiful cemetery I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I said, I have to shoot a movie.
Yeah.
So what I did was I came back to America and I started to write. And I never wrote before. So, I don't know how to write. I'm writing in pen, I'm writing in a notebook, but I'm just getting down my ideas.
Yeah.
And we went back again. And I met this guy at the Wi-Fi store because I needed Wi-Fi, traveling Wi-Fi so we could drive around Sicily so we could get reception and whatever. And I said to him the year previous, the same guy said, is there a cinematographer here I could talk to or anybody? He goes, I know one. He gives me the guy's number. My cousin calls him. The guy, I said, where are you? He goes, I'm in Santa Teresa. I said, so am I. He goes, can we meet? Mm-hmm. We meet. Mm-hmm. We go back up to Limina, and I walk with him around the town. And I show him what I want to shoot. Meanwhile, I don't really have a full story. I got a half a story.
Yeah.
So now, the next year, when I go back, I write the story, and we talked every day, him and I, over WhatsApp for 6 months. And we started to prepare our shoot. And a friend of mine looked at my script and he said to me, he goes, man, you got a little talent. You can write. I said, well, I don't know. He goes, it's really good. So I decided I wanted to submit it to the Russo brothers, who do the Marvel Endgame and
the
biggest,
they're awesome.
The biggest directors in pretty much in the world at this point with Marvel. And they gave me a grant from the National Italian American Foundation to shoot my film. So I went to Sicily and I shot my film. And it was the greatest experience of my life. I shot it with no actors, just the people from the town, including my cousin. And I can't tell you the experience and the love and the respect they gave me, because I was telling a story about where they're from and honoring them. And no Americans ever done that before. And I was so humbled by them and honored. And we did a beautiful film. We shot it in 5 days. And I don't even speak the language, so it was a whole other thing.
You don't speak Italian?
I speak a little bit, but this is Sicilian. This is a whole other thing.
This is like a different dialect,
I have a translator with me asking the guy to do this, doing that, but we end up becoming really, really, really. Antonino Santo, you're Forza Limina. Yes, of course. In Limina, Sicily, I love you. But anyway, we did this beautiful film as an homage to my grandfather, and I'm so honored and proud. We won a lot of film festivals all over the world. Yeah. I told you I was supposed to be in Sicily premiering, but because of COVID, things got a little bit messed up. But
Yeah.
we won the WorldFest in Houston. We won the new Filmmakers Film Festival in New York. Nominated for Best Picture here. Nominated. It's been a fantastic thing. So I have the second part that I wrote, Ritornato Do It, Looking for Vincent. And then I have another movie that I'm going to shoot in Agrigento.
Yeah.
So I love Sicily. It's a part of my soul and part of my heart. And I actually was just named ambassador to Sicily and to Lima, to the town that I'm from. So really, the mayor honored me with that. And I'm now on the board of this thing called Splendid Sicily, which is about cultural things about Sicily.
Yeah.
And it's a museum, which I'm very proud to be associated with. So through this movie, I got back on Instagram because my wife said, you gotta promote.
Yeah.
I wasn't on Instagram up until like 6 months ago. I don't know anything about Instagram. And then when the Ritornato was starting to come out, she put it on Instagram, and then people started to call me and find me. Ciao Anna, ciao Malazzo, ciao Sicilia.
You got a lot of fans here.
Ciao.
Someone named Shamoon says, Michael, it's me. Who would you like to see fight Ned?
Shamoon, anybody. Let's bring him, Shamoon. You're a good man. I miss you. He's in London. He's a good kid.
Oh, cool.
I'll take Johnny. I'll take Crease. I'll take Barnes. I'll take whoever you want. No problem. Anywhere, anytime.
Where can they find your movie?
They can see me they can visit me at Ritornato, the movie. Ciao, Argentina. A lot of Sicilians in Argentina. A lot of fans there. Thank you. What I'm going to do is we're going to do a big virtual screening of Ritornato. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to put it on with everyone. Cool. So that's why with Instagram, that's how the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai came about, because I didn't even know they were doing that.
Really?
And so people started asking me, Michael, are you going to be in Cobra Kai? I'm like, what's that? I had no idea. And then finally somebody said to me, I would love to interview him. I'm like, okay. And then they started telling me about it. I was like, wow, this is interesting. Yeah. So I've always been recognized everywhere because of it, but I didn't know they were doing this thing, and I didn't know Cobra Kai existed. But man, it's Cobra Kai is blowing up everywhere.
Oh, it's blowing up.
Ciao Mexico. They need a Ciao Mexico.
It's like you can now see like how big Karate Kid. I feel like Cobra Kai is almost bigger than Karate Kid was. It's just like,
I think it's different.
Because now you got both sides of the fandom. You got the young, and then you got the old coming in, right? So it's.
I think you're right. I think what's different about it, but you get the older people because they can have they can go back in time and remember. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean, and reminisce about the time that they watch it, and the music, the music that they're playing and all that stuff. Wonderful.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah,
and but also I think the other side is that Netflix makes it easier for people to get it.
Yeah.
Right. But I think the one thing that really, really is wonderful about Cobra Kai is that because of the pandemic, people needed something to smile about, even though it's maybe it's not always. There's a little violence here, but it's light in a lot of ways.
That's life, and, man. It's that's how
it's cool, and people needed something to get away from what was going on outside.
Yeah, a little escape.
Yeah, and I think that's what this afforded people, and they were looking forward to seeing that and be fun. I think what they're doing is absolutely incredible. I think what Ralph and Billy are doing is incredible. That to be able to do this many years later is brilliant. So it's a testament to the franchise. How great the franchise is, and how great the fan base is. I think there's a lot of places they can go with it, but I think you have the younger and you got the older. That's why when people contact me, they're watching the beginnings of it. I have friends of mine that have kids. They're watching all the beginning movies, Karate Kid, the next Karate Kid. Then they watch Cobra Kai to get the history.
Yeah.
So it's like a history lesson of what Cobra Kai is going to be. Like, these are the characters.
Yeah.
And then what I love about it is that they bring in Mr. Miyagi. And I think here's my big thing about Cobra Kai and Karate Kid. There's nothing without Mr. Miyagi. Mr. Miyagi is the man.
No, he's Karate Kid.
He is
it.
He is the heart and soul of this franchise. Cobra Kai, Karate Kid, next Karate Kid. He is the soul of it. So I love the fact that he hangs over it a little bit, and they let him hang over. And that to me is really beautiful, to reminisce, to look back. And by doing that, you bring characters like your age or even my age, you bring us back to that time in our life, what we were thinking about when we were watching.
Yeah.
or what we felt when we were watching that. Because, like I said, I remember when I got the part, I went back and watched the original because, what was that, 1986, 84, 86?
84 was the first one, 86 second one, 89, 94.
So 86, 84 was the first. Yeah, to me, I remember that one the most. And that came along, I think, like, you know, after Rocky, it was John Avildsen.
Yeah.
And so there was a similar feeling with that film. And that's why John is such a brilliant director in a lot of ways, because the way he told the story and had the underdog overcome things. So that was something I always liked in movies.
Me too.
And it's a simple aspect.
Yeah.
But he did it well. And Rocky is brilliant. So I don't think John is with us anymore. Am I correct?
Yeah, I don't think he's around anymore. Yeah.
And exactly. Think about it. Jerry's not here anymore either.
Yeah.
So really, Ralph and Billy, myself, and a few actors that were in the movies are the one that's carrying the lineage of the Karate Kid.
The feeling, the torch, yeah, all of that.
Yeah, and I think that's because Jerry was, I'll never forget, I'll tell a story about Jerry. When he found out, you know, I lost my mom, and then he found out my father was ill in New York. And he came over to me at lunchtime. He goes, "Why did you say something to me?" I said, "Oh, Jerry, I don't want to." And he goes, "Listen," he goes, "if you ever need to go home, you go home. We shuttle you home, no problem." So my father was getting real ill, you know, towards the end of the film shoot. He goes, "If you need to go home for the weekend," and he put me on the plane and sent me home. And I never forgot that. And I owe him a gratitude, and Susie Eakins and everybody there, because they treated me with such respect, and my father. And it was like a family, you know. We were young kids trying to do a movie and try to live life and and a lot of times when you have personal things going on in your life, you don't want to tell other people the struggles that you're going through. So that was really nice that they were able to say, "Listen, go do what you have to do.
Yeah.
We're here for you." And, you know, so yeah, it really is a lot of things for me. Not only being my first film, but it brings back some unbelievable memories and great people. And a smile. It brings a smile to my face of working in Boston. I remember I was an honorary Teamster. Jimmy Flynn was my driver. And he used to take me to this place every morning called Michael's Pastries in Boston. They had the best pastries.
Yeah.
And he'd pick me up and we'd go. He goes, "Come on, let's get a cappuccino." And then we would go to the set. He was so sweet. And those things like that, you can never forget. It's just a memory that's embedded in my mind. And Boston was a wonderful place, even though I'm a Yankee fan. Boston was beautiful. It was a great time.
So I love hearing these kind of stories, you know, from everyone behind this, because it's like it's more than just, you know, a movie. Like for you, it was so much more than that. It took you out of a certain darkness, and it just gave you something to really grasp onto. And I almost feel like your acting in the film really nailed it in so many scenes because you were so emotional at the time. So you're able to draw on so many emotions. Yeah,
I had done that, as I said to you, Neil. I did that movie, and I was really raw emotionally.
Yeah.
Really raw. I was angry.
Yeah.
Which worked, and I was really raw, like sensitive. And I went on to do another movie right after that with the director who wrote Green Book. Mm-hmm. He won the Academy Award for Green Book, the writer. And it was another, like a really like emotional, heavy, dangerous character. And, you know, I was very lucky because I was able to funnel my emotions through these characters.
Yeah.
So that helped me. And that's part of, you know, the process of acting, is to be able to channel some of your emotions through something. So it really helped me to get through, because I was a little lost for a few years trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But with the Karate Kid and the Kingdom of the Blind and then Last Man Standing with Walter Hill, those experiences kind of helped me navigate through the next section of my life. So yeah, I mean, being an actor in that way helped me a lot.
Now, I got to ask, was there ever any talks that you heard of of a Karate Kid 5?
You know, there was a mention at some point about that, and then I don't know what happened. I don't know. I think Hillary went on to win an Academy Award. I guess she probably said, "I don't want to do this anymore." Yeah. You know, maybe. Yeah. Or I did mention it, and I think maybe Mr. Pat got ill.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But yeah, there was a mention of it.
Nothing with Daniel coming back in, and maybe Ned.
You know, I don't know. Like I don't know the specifics of it, but I heard it. And I think it was also hinging on Karate Kid showing right now. Where's it showing? Tell me where. It's on. I'm wondering where, Nia. I'm I'm not sure they were waiting for like the box office or waiting to see what would transpire. All I remember was, and I have a picture of it. Me and Hillary were in Entertainment Weekly, and I'm you know, like that picture, that great picture I have of me choking Hillary.
Yeah.
So that's in Entertainment Weekly, and these are the movies we were going against at the time.
That's the picture you sent me.
Gump.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, Forrest Gump, Clear and Present Danger.
Yeah.
And then something else, and then us. I was like, geez, how are we gonna fight against Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
So we kind of got caught in the crosshairs of that, and
I think it was like Toy Story or something like that too.
What's that?
I think it was like Toy Story or something like that too.
Yeah, it was something. Toy Story maybe was first. I don't even remember. Milk Money or something else or something. Right?
Let me see. I
Some
got to see this. Yeah, I got to see this. It was like Toy Story or something like that. Where is it? You sent me it. While I find it, can you tell me? But I want to know about the Alpha Elites. Like, so the cool thing is with Karate Kid is like we got to see Cobra Kai. That was like the big bad, you know, karate school. Then we see the Alpha Elites, and it's like, who are these dudes? Are they like crazy hall monitors? Are they like a military?
I think they were part of the
Natural Born Killers.
Natural Born Killers.
Got it.
The Mask.
Okay.
This one slowed up a little. And the Mask.
The Mask.
By the way, and I'll tell you a story
Milk
about that.
Money. True Lies.
Come on. Mask.
Lion King.
Lion King. Where am I going with that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Speed.
Which one?
Speed.
Speed. Come on.
Huge.
Nia, how are we gonna compete?
Yeah.
with
No,
that?
it's tough.
So let me ask you this question. So I just want to bring it. Cameron was wonderful. We did Good Morning New York together.
Okay.
And it was her first breakout role. And I never forget, we were laughing because both of us were like these two actors, and we were going to compete on the opening weekend.
Yeah.
She was beautiful, sweet. My whole family, I had my whole Italian family in the back of the studio.
Yeah.
We're all crammed in, and there's Cameron. She's rapped. She's talking to my sister, talking to my sister-in-law. She was so sweet. And nobody knew that Mask was going to be this massive hit.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and here we are battling with that. So
that was her
anyway,
first
getting
movie
back
too,
to,
right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting back to Alpha Elite. Alpha Elite, I think, was like an ROTC kind of military group, kind of like, you know, like an army or like a Navy SEALs group or like maybe like even a group that would be prepping to go into something like that.
Yeah.
And the difference between the Cobra Kai, they're in a school, in a karate school.
Yeah.
We're in a regular school. I think we're a little bit more disciplined than they are.
Yeah.
I think we were a little bit more dangerous than they are. A lot, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously, Dugan was a little bit more dangerous than I think than their sensei.
Well, they're
maybe,
both military leaders, so it's like for me, I'm wondering maybe they even knew each other at some point, possibly.
That's what I'm thinking.
Around the same age.
Exactly. So maybe they come from the same cloth. They're cut from the same cloth, and they're knew each other. And maybe he went this way, and this guy went that way.
Yeah, maybe he was a Cobra Kai at one point, and he went to do his own thing.
Yeah,
so
we
some
don't
of the
know,
training. These are all cool little theories and stuff. It's fun to think about.
People ask me all the time about the athlete, and I laugh. I said, yeah, like we're like this military group that's running the school. Like, you know, discipline, make sure you're on time, make sure you go to your class. He set us, like, we're his little flunkies running around making sure everybody goes to class and do what they got to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And nobody wants to fight with Dugan. So.
No, he was a bad boy. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's nasty.
Yeah. I'd like to see all you guys return. I mean, so with this interview, I didn't even ask you, did you have like a time limit or something? Because we're running up on 50 minutes. How you feeling?
I can do whatever you want.
All right.
I want to talk.
Sure. Let's go a little more. You got some fans asking you some questions here. Do you have any fond stories of Pat or Michael Ironside? We kind of went through those. Yeah, sure. Actually, what's some of your great memories with Pat?
Well, I mean, the one I said with Pat with
pulling you aside.
Pat was Pat was just a supporter. He was a leader on the set, and he put his arm around you. And you know, if he sees you were struggling with the scene, he would come up to you and say, "Hey, you're doing great." Always had a kind word. And like I said before, that one scene, he really gave me confidence to do it and not be afraid to let myself go and be emotional. So I'll never forget that. And he would come to the set, he'd be laughing, comical.
Yeah.
And man, when the camera went on, boom. He went from this one guy, and all of a sudden he's Mr. Miyagi. And it's like this, and you're looking at this iconic figure like, I can't believe that I'm working in a scene with him or I'm standing with him.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand, this is historic.
Yeah.
He's a guy that you watched as a kid growing up.
Yeah.
And he was a hero to you. And now you're working and he did little. Nia, he was little. You don't even know what he's saying. You can't even hear it. But then when you see it on the screen, it's just larger than life. He comes larger than life. So he was just
calm. Very calm.
Yeah, so beautiful. And then Michael Ironside, like I said, he has a reputation. He's such a dangerous, dangerous guy and a wonderful actor. He's been in so many things. So I'm just a big fan and just learned a lot from watching him as a professional, asking questions, asking the director questions. And then we would talk about a scene and he'd say, what do you think? What's your opinion on this? How do you feel? And I would tell him, and we would go back and forth. So he allowed me to be creative and to work as an actor, trusted me to give my 2 cents. So that was wonderful.
Was there anything that you remember, I know it was a bit ago, regarding any of the other characters from Karate Kid 1, 2, or 3? Was there anything like a backstory or something in the script, like, oh, Dugan is much like Terry Silver or Kreese or something who came from this?
Yeah. I think we might have said it earlier, but when I got the part, I watched and I tried to figure out who I was in the scheme of the parts that they had originally. And I realized that I was obviously the lead. I was Johnny in this part of the movie. Yeah. So he did a really nice job, Billy, and the way he played the part. I said, well, obviously you're going to have to be the villain. You're going to have to do what you have to do. But what can you do differently? What can you use in your toolbox as an actor to bring this character to another level? So that's what I worked on the vulnerability side and worked on moments like that and tried to find moments where even if he is angry at Hillary, you see that he really, really likes her. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't understand how to deal with it. He wanted a date. Yeah. And he just didn't know he wasn't cultivated enough or cultured enough to figure out how to ask. Yeah. So he kind of did it the way he did it. But, I also tried to put a little sense of humor in it. When we had the Hawk, I would laugh. Whatever. Meet me at the Docks McGowan, or when wrestling with the Hawk, which was funny. Try to have a smile here and there. Yeah. Jack Nicholson is one of my favorite actors, and he always has that little grin that he has, that sinister grin. So I think Ned had a little bit of that, which I found very interesting. So, but to watch, Mr. Miyagi and even Daniel, like Ralph in the first one, so wounded, was an interesting thing for me because Ralph plays that part very, very well. As a kid that's up against so much. A fish out of water, an underdog, and he played it well. And I'm, being Sicilian American, I was rooting for him because you never see a guy like that be the underdog. You always see him be the heavy. Right. So they flipped everything around and changed it and tried to reverse it. So I thought that was a really, really great way to see it. Yeah. And I really enjoyed Ralph in that way. I enjoyed how he played the character. And then even when he was fighting, he still was the underdog. Yeah. And people were rooting for him. So that's a John Avildsen trick. Yeah. In Rocky, in this movie. So I would say those moments and those characters really, really sat with me.
Those are my favorite kind of movies where the kid goes in there, gets beat up, and then finds a mentor, trains, comes back, and kicks everyone's butt. Yeah. So it's such a simple thing, but it's simple. Yeah. Right? I liked it.
It's a simple formula, cool. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. And they did it. Well, listen, like I said, we could keep saying this, but they did it, and everybody was like, wow. Everybody made fun of it. Yeah. But now they're not making fun of it anymore, are they? Yeah. They're all watching it. Yeah. They all want to be part of it.
Because it's part of the universe now. It's part of it is, and the big three, the writers have said, it's part of the canon. It's part of the Miyagi verse. So
it's funny because I never knew what that meant.
What do you mean, the Miyagi verse? Oh, canon? No. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So can you explain to me your version? Because somebody else said something to me, and I'm not sure if I got it right, but...
Okay, yeah. So canon is basically what's considered part of the timeline of a story. So, like with Star Wars, for example, when Disney bought Lucasfilm, what used to be canon kind of went out the window, and they created their own story, their own timeline.
I see.
So that's now considered Legends or Expanded Universe. So the same thing with this, like... I don't know if the cartoons for Karate Kid are canon. I think they are.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just now I'm learning about this.
I don't know. Yeah.
The next Karate Kid and the other three, and then Cobra Kai are the ones. Not even the Jaden Smith one is involved because Miyagi's not in that.
I've never seen that one.
Yeah, I don't. No, I'm not interested.
I didn't
in
find.
that.
I didn't. I love Jackie Chan, but I don't know. I just didn't.
Yeah. No, because like we said before, if Mr. Miyagi's not in it, then
It's a reboot, man. I can't. You can't reboot.
Yeah.
Look, here are the things you can't reboot. You can't reboot the original Star Wars. You can't reboot Back to the Future. You can't reboot the Karate Kid.
Right.
You just can't.
I agree.
It's just
Agreed.
the way it is, you know. Like
I agree.
that
So I'm
that
grateful
magic.
I'm grateful that I'm part of the canon.
Yeah.
Whatever that canon is, I'm grateful.
You're
that
part
we're
of it, yeah. So that means, hey, and they've said they want to bring everyone back. So I'd love to see you return. I'd love to have another interview with you, maybe when Cobra Kai season 3 comes out, and we can talk about some stuff and have some fun.
Of course, you're amazing. You're amazing.
It's been great talking to you. I really appreciate your time. Let's see if we got any more last minute questions here. Oh, hey, this is cool. I didn't even think of this. Any deleted scenes you really wish they left in? Were there any deleted scenes?
Yeah, there's always deleted scenes,
Yeah.
and one of the scenes was a very vulnerable scene. So that's why I told you we had to reshoot something, because the ending wasn't exactly the way we wanted it. So, yes, there was a deleted scene. I never got it for my reel, unfortunately. They never used it. But in films, there's always a deleted scene. There's always films that get, scenes that you want, that get cut out.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there was a very, very good emotional scene that cut a little bit of the character. Because, that again, you want to flesh out your character, but they're doing it for the sake of the movie. What's the best for the film?
Yeah, the
for the
pacing,
movie. So,
the timing, all that.
Yeah, I was at a Walter Hill movie. I worked on it for 6 months. I was in the whole movie. I ended up being in 3 minutes. I was like, wow. It broke my heart, but, it is what it is. So, yeah, there was. I think I asked for it, but they didn't give it to me. I think I had to buy it or something.
Maybe I gotta buy the DVD and one of the old DVDs and see if it's on like a bonus disc or something.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if that how I can get that.
I'll track it down. I'll track it down.
Will you track it down?
Maybe some fans here can track it down.
Track
it down. Yeah. I wrote a summary for Back to the Future 4, 5, and 6. That's cool, man. Michael, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I would love to talk to you again.
I'm gonna say this once, brother.
Yeah.
You're incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for your time. I'm humbled by being involved and having an interview with you guys.
Of course, you're involved.
Fans out there, to all the fans out there, wherever you are, even if you don't like me or the character or the next Karate Kid or the Karate Kid, it doesn't matter to me, because I'm honored that you follow us, that you support us. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. You don't have to like this or that, but the fact that you're involved with this universe and you allow us to talk about the film and memories, I really, really appreciate it. So all the fans out there, thank you so much. And I'm ready.
Bring him in.
Hey, producers, whenever you're ready, I'm ready.
Bring him in, yeah.
Bring me in. I'm ready to go at it with anybody. I'm ready to do whatever you ask me to do. It would be an honor and a privilege to be part of this. So Karate Kid series, the Karate Kid franchise, the canon, next Karate Kid, Cobra Kai. You guys are all awesome.
I'd love to see it, man. Thank you so much, Michael. I'll
You're
catch you later, brother.
All right. Cobra Kai theory, rock it out, brother. Thank you.
Later, bro.
Ciao, Bob.